beautiful product we've ever designed. The computer is in an 8-inch cube.
The Zune HD was Microsoft's final attempt to dethrone the iPod.
This is, Tablet PC Edition 2005.
The 2000s were bursting with groundbreaking ideas, but not every innovation found its audience. From ambitious gadgets to bold tech experiments, some products promised to change the world, yet spectacularly missed the mark. In this third part of our series, we dive into more revolutionary devices and concepts that, despite their potential, failed miserably. So, join us today in the third part of 25 innovative products from the 2000s that failed miserably. When Google launched Wave in 2009, it was touted as the future of online communication, a real-time collaboration platform blending email, instant messaging, and document sharing into a single interface. Despite its innovative approach, Wave overwhelmed users with complexity and lacked clear use cases.
It's called Google Wave. It's a communication and collaboration tool that we're launching later in the year.
The steep learning curve deterred adoption, and many users found the interface confusing and cluttered. Developers struggled to create engaging extensions, and major productivity tools remained absent. Google's decision to open source Wave's code in 2010 highlighted its failure to gain traction. Though its core ideas influenced later platforms like Google Docs and Slack, Google Wave itself remains a cautionary tale about how even the biggest innovators can misjudge market readiness and user needs. Google Wave promised to reinvent communication, but how did Apple's daring design of the Power Mac G4 Cube fare in the market? The Power Mac G4 Cube, launched in 2000, was Apple's ambitious attempt to merge cutting-edge design with desktop power. Its sleek, compact, and fanless acrylic cube captivated tech enthusiasts and design aficionados alike. However, its $1,790 starting price tag, limited expandability, and overheating issues limited its appeal.
The most beautiful product we've ever designed. The computer is in an 8-inch cube, and it's suspended in a stunning crystal-clear enclosure.
Consumers found it expensive compared to tower PCs offering more performance for less money. Additionally, Apple's marketing failed to clearly define the cube's target audience. Despite winning design awards, sales remained low, and Apple discontinued the cube by 2001. Today, it's remembered as a bold but commercially unsuccessful experiment that showcased Apple's flair for design, but also the pitfalls of style over substance. Launched in 2005, the Gizmondo was a $400 handheld gaming console created by Tiger Telematics, aiming to compete with Nintendo and Sony in the portable gaming market. It featured GPS, multimedia functions, and a sleek design, but its performance and game library were underwhelming. What truly doomed the Gizmondo, however, was the scandal behind the scenes. Several executives were tied to organized crime, fraud, and embezzlement, and company funds were lavishly misused, including on luxury cars and celebrity parties.
This is the Gizmondo. It came out in 2005. Game Trailers rated it as the worst console ever.
The console sold fewer than 25,000 units before Tiger Telematics filed for bankruptcy in 2006. The Gizmondo is now remembered less as a technological innovation and more as one of the most spectacular business and gaming industry failures of the 2000s. The Sega Dreamcast, released in 1999, was ahead of its time with innovations like built-in modem support for online gaming and the Visual Memory Unit, VMU. It garnered praise for titles like Shenmue and Jet Set Radio, cultivating a loyal fan base. Yet, it couldn't overcome Sega's prior financial troubles, limited third-party developer support, and stiff competition from Sony's PlayStation 2.
A brand new 128-bit system. Sega officially announced the Dreamcast on May 21, 1998.
Launch delays and a weaker marketing campaign further hindered sales. By 2001, Sega announced it would exit the console hardware business altogether. Despite its technological advances and passionate community, the Dreamcast's premature demise marked the end of Sega's era as a console manufacturer, remembered as both a cult classic and a commercial failure. Sega's Dreamcast sparked hope before fading away. How did Nokia's N-Gage try to blend mobile phones with gaming, and what was its fate? Nokia's N-Gage, launched in 2003, was a bold hybrid of a mobile phone and handheld gaming device. Aiming to compete with dedicated gaming consoles, it combined cellular functions with game cartridges. However, design flaws like the infamous side-talking mode, holding the device sideways to make calls, made it uncomfortable. The cartridge slot was awkwardly placed, requiring battery removal to swap games, and the limited game library couldn't rival competitors.
These buttons might be good to make a phone call with, maybe, but they do not look or feel good for gaming.
Despite Nokia's market dominance in phones, the N-Gage confused consumers, and sales lagged behind expectations. The follow-up N-Gage QD improved hardware but couldn't revive interest. By 2005, Nokia discontinued the platform, with the N-Gage often cited as a rare misstep in an otherwise successful mobile legacy. In the mid-2000s, Toshiba introduced HD DVD as a high-definition optical disc format designed to succeed DVDs and compete directly with Sony's Blu-ray. Despite having early industry backing and being integrated into devices like the Xbox 360, HD DVD struggled to secure broad support from film studios and retailers. Blu-ray's larger storage capacity, combined with aggressive marketing and inclusion in the PlayStation 3, gave it a decisive advantage. Consumer confusion during the format war and delays in exclusive content put HD DVD at a disadvantage. By 2008, Toshiba officially discontinued HD DVD production.
Toshiba makes the HD DVD. Each company rushed to sign up the big Hollywood studios to exclusive deals, but Blu-ray quickly outpaced its rival,
marking one of the most prominent format failures of the decade. HD DVD's short life underscores the power of ecosystem support over technical specs alone. Microsoft's Zune HD, launched in 2009, was an ambitious attempt to challenge Apple's iPod Touch with a sleek touchscreen device, HD radio, and smooth interface. Despite its impressive OLED display and solid design, it entered a market dominated by the iPhone and iPod, which offered vast app ecosystems and seamless integration with iTunes.
Released in 2009, the Zune HD was Microsoft's final attempt to dethrone the iPod. The sleek industrial design makes the Zune HD a sight to behold.
The Zune HD lacked third-party apps and was hampered by limited media support. Its marketing efforts were muted, and consumer interest remained low. Although the device had a cult following among some audiophiles, Microsoft discontinued the entire Zune line by 2011. The Zune HD represents how even quality hardware can fail without the ecosystem and brand appeal behind it. The Motorola ROKR E1, released in 2005, was the first phone to integrate Apple's iTunes music player, generating high anticipation. However, the device severely underwhelmed users. It was limited to syncing just 100 songs despite having larger storage, resulting in a frustratingly restrictive experience. The phone itself had average specs and a dull design compared to contemporary smartphones. Steve Jobs reportedly disliked the device, considering it a poor representation of the iPod experience.
The phone is made by Motorola. We have designed the iTunes client and worked with them to integrate it into the phone. It's called the Motorola Rocker.
The ROKR's sluggish performance and limited features meant it was quickly overshadowed by Apple's later release of the iPhone. It now serves as an early example of the pitfalls in rushed tech partnerships lacking a cohesive vision. The ROKR E1 stumbled with limited functionality. Could Sony's second-generation Aibo robot charm users more effectively? Sony's second-generation Aibo robot dog, released in the early 2000s, showcased notable improvements in design, mobility, and artificial intelligence. It could recognize voice commands, express emotions, and develop unique behaviors over time. Despite these advances, AIBO remained a luxury item with a steep price tag, limiting its accessibility.
Sony's original Aibo robotic dog blew the public's collective mind when it debuted in 1999.
Many users appreciated its companionship, but practical limitations, such as limited battery life and high maintenance costs, held it back. The novelty eventually wore off, and sales declined. Sony discontinued the product line in 2006. While later models and concepts revived interest in robotic pets, The second-gen AIBO is remembered as a groundbreaking but commercially niche product in consumer robotics. Microsoft's Spot, Smart Personal Object Technology watch, released in 2004, aimed to be an early smartwatch delivering news, weather, and stock updates via FM radio signals. The watch's innovative design and integration with MSN Direct services demonstrated foresight, but were hindered by slow data updates.
Microsoft is working on a touch-enabled watch device expected to compete with wearable technology from competitors Apple and Samsung.
Limited functionality and a required subscription fee. Without Wi-Fi or cellular connectivity, the Spot watch relied on radio signals, which limited coverage and user experience. Competing devices and the rise of smartphones soon rendered it obsolete. By 2008, Microsoft discontinued the Spot platform. Although ahead of its time, the Spot watch highlighted the challenge of launching wearable tech before the infrastructure and consumer readiness matured. In 2007, Palm unveiled the Folio, a mobile companion designed to extend the functionality of smartphones with a compact, lightweight, laptop-like device. Intended to handle emails and documents on the go, the Folio ran a custom Linux OS and relied heavily on syncing with Palm phones. However, it suffered from limited functionality, no cellular connectivity, and poor software support, making it more of a niche gadget than an actual productivity enhancer.
Folio is a mobile companion. It's a companion to the mobile device, and yet it gives you a large screen and a full keyboard.
At a steep $409 price point, consumers found it underpowered compared to laptops or emerging smartphones. Just weeks before launch, Palm abruptly canceled the Folio. Its quick demise highlights how even promising concepts can fail without clear value or timing that aligns with consumer needs. When Microsoft launched Windows Vista in 2007, it promised enhanced security, a revamped interface, and improved search features. Yet, the operating system quickly became infamous for its high system requirements, compatibility issues, and frequent user account control (UAC) prompts that frustrated users. Many older PCs struggled to run Vista smoothly.
So we've got the disk in the drive, launch the Vista setup program from within Windows 2000, and there it is,
leading consumers and businesses to delay upgrades. Critical software and hardware drivers lagged behind, compounding the problems. Although Vista introduced useful features like Windows Aero and enhanced networking, its performance issues and awkward rollout damaged its reputation. Microsoft eventually addressed many complaints with Windows 7, but Vista's legacy remains that of a misstep in balancing innovation and user experience. Long before the tablet boom, Microsoft released its tablet PC platform in the early 2000s, targeting professionals who wanted pen input and portability. The devices ran a modified Windows XP with stylus support, aiming to blend traditional PC power with touchscreen convenience.
So this is, Tablet PC Edition 2005. So this is the later release of Tablet PC Edition.
However, these early tablet PCs were bulky, expensive, and featured short battery life. The stylus input was often imprecise, and software optimized for touch was scarce. As a result, consumer adoption was minimal, and many viewed them as niche tools rather than mainstream devices. It wasn't until nearly a decade later, with the arrival of devices like the iPad, that tablets gained mass appeal. Microsoft's early foray into tablets foreshadowed future trends but failed to capture the market initially. The wearable DVD player emerged in the early 2000s as a futuristic gadget, promising portable video entertainment with built-in screens worn like goggles or glasses. Marketed as ideal for travel or private viewing, these devices featured small LCD screens and headphone jacks. However, they were bulky, uncomfortable to wear for extended periods, and offered low-resolution video compared to emerging portable media players and laptops. Battery life was short, and the limited selection of DVDs made them less practical. As smartphones and portable media players with larger screens and better content options proliferated, wearable DVD players quickly became obsolete. They remain a quirky relic of an era exploring how to miniaturize entertainment before streaming took over. The wearable DVD player was a niche novelty. How did Friendster fare as one of the earliest social networking pioneers? Before Facebook and Twitter dominated social media, Friendster emerged in 2002 as one of the earliest platforms connecting people online. Initially, it attracted millions of users eager to build social networks and share content. However, technical issues like slow load times, frequent crashes, and poor scalability frustrated users. Additionally, Friendster struggled to innovate and monetize effectively, allowing its rivals, such as MySpace and Facebook, to capture its audience.
The new Friendster is fun and easy to use, just for you and your friends.
Despite attempts at redesign and refocus, Friendster lost relevance and eventually pivoted to a social gaming site before shutting down in 2015. Its rise and fall highlight the challenges of sustaining early web success amid rapid technological and competitive changes. MySpace was the social media titan of the mid-2000s, celebrated for customizable profiles and its embrace of music and pop culture. At its peak, it was the most visited social networking site globally, hosting millions of users and launching music careers. However, MySpace's success was undermined by cluttered design, slow site performance, and spam issues. Poor management decisions and inability to innovate or compete with Facebook's cleaner, more user-friendly platform.
New picture comments? Ever since I got on MySpace, I have no time for sleep and no time for homework, but I feel cooler now!
Hastened its decline. By the early 2010s, MySpace had lost nearly all of its user base and relevance. Its story serves as a cautionary tale about the need to evolve quickly in the fast-paced digital landscape. Coca-Cola C2 was launched in 2004 as a bold experiment to win over health-conscious consumers who didn't like Diet Coke. Marketed as having half the sugar and calories of regular Coke, it blended artificial and natural sweeteners to maintain a real Coke taste. However, it failed to resonate with either target audience. Regular soda drinkers found the taste off-putting and slightly artificial, while diet soda fans stuck with their zero-calorie options.
It was half the calories or half the sugar of a regular Coca-Cola.
Positioned awkwardly between Coke Classic and Diet Coke, it lacked a clear identity. Despite a heavy marketing push that included product placements and celebrity endorsements, C2 fizzled out due to poor sales. By 2007, Coca-Cola quietly discontinued it, and the product became a short-lived footnote in the cola wars of the 2000s. BlackBerry's Storm, released in 2008, was the company's first touchscreen smartphone designed to compete with Apple's iPhone. Featuring the SurePress clickable screen, it aimed to replicate the tactile feedback of physical buttons on a touchscreen. Unfortunately, the technology was unreliable, resulting in unresponsive and frustrating user experiences. The operating system wasn't optimized for touch, leading to glitches and slow performance.
America's largest 3G network introduces the world's first touchscreen BlackBerry.
The Storm also lacked Wi-Fi initially, a critical oversight. Though heavily marketed and selling millions of units, customer dissatisfaction was widespread. The Storm's failure signaled BlackBerry's struggle to adapt to the touchscreen era and marked the beginning of its decline in the smartphone market. Napster, launched in 1999, revolutionized music sharing by allowing users to swap MP3 files peer-to-peer freely. Its explosive popularity challenged traditional music industry models but sparked massive legal battles over copyright infringement. Despite its cultural impact, Napster was shut down in 2001 following court injunctions. Attempts to relaunch it as a legal subscription service struggled against emerging competitors like iTunes.
Allowed you to connect with anyone else on Napster, which with millions of people allowed for virtually any song to be easily accessible.
Napster's original incarnation failed commercially due to its controversial nature, poor monetization strategy, and mounting lawsuits. Still, it forever changed how music was consumed, laying the groundwork for modern streaming services by exposing the demand for digital, on-demand access. Pepsi Blue, launched in 2002, was a bold attempt to reinvent cola with a berry-flavored twist and an electric blue hue. Aimed at teens and Gen Z consumers, the drink was inspired by the extreme marketing trends of the early 2000s.
Pepsi Blue, a fusion of berries with splash of cola. Pepsi Blue. It's a blue thing.
With its striking appearance and candy-like taste, Pepsi Blue definitely stood out, but not in a good way. Many consumers found it overly sweet, oddly artificial, and far removed from the classic cola flavor they expected. Despite a major marketing campaign and tie-ins with pop culture, including sponsorships and music videos, the drink failed to gain a loyal following. Pepsi discontinued it in 2004 after weak sales, and it now remains a nostalgic oddity among failed soda experiments of the decade. The Palm Trio 700W, released in 2006, was among the first smartphones to run Microsoft's Windows Mobile OS, targeting business users with integrated email, phone, and PDA functions. It featured a full, QWERTY keyboard, touchscreen, and strong support for enterprise applications. While it was praised for productivity features, the device suffered from clunky software, limited app availability, and a user interface that felt outdated compared to rivals like the BlackBerry and emerging iPhone. Battery life was mediocre, and the design was bulky. Though it had loyal users, the Trio 700W failed to capture mainstream consumer interest and was eventually eclipsed by more advanced smartphones.
Only Verizon Wireless has the new Trio 700W smartphone, the first Trio to run mobile versions of Microsoft applications.
It represents the challenges of bridging traditional PDAs with modern smartphone demands. The Trio 700W was an early smartphone hybrid. How did Sony's internet appliance, the Evilla, fare in the rapidly evolving digital landscape? In 2001, Sony ventured into the emerging internet appliance market with the Evilla, a compact all-in-one device designed for simple web browsing, email, and media playback. Featuring a vertical flat panel display, dial-up connectivity, and a proprietary operating system based on BOS, it targeted non-tech-savvy users seeking an easy online experience. However, the Evilla's slow performance, limited software options, and reliance on outdated dial-up connections,
Villa faced numerous issues. The system was slow, loaded websites poorly, and didn't support many popular formats of the time.
Failed to impress consumers. Its hefty $500 price tag further limited appeal, especially when traditional PCs offered far more flexibility. After only 2 months on the market, Sony discontinued the Evilla and refunded customers. The device exemplified how innovation alone isn't enough without practical value and timely technology integration. Microsoft's Kin 1 and Kin 2, launched in 2010, were aimed at the youth market, blending social media integration with sleek design. Developed after acquiring Danger, the phones featured a unique card-based UI focused on sharing content. However, the Kin suffered from limited app availability, a lack of popular features, and poor battery life.
Armed with her Kin, the only phone with the loop, she gets priority updates from the people and things she cares about.
Compounding issues were its initial release with only 3G connectivity and dependency on a pricey monthly data plan. The phones struggled to compete with iPhones and Android devices, selling poorly. Microsoft discontinued the Kin just 6 weeks after launch, marking one of the shortest product life cycles in tech history. The Kin highlighted the challenges of targeting niche markets without robust software ecosystems. Dell's entry into the MP3 player market with the DJ Ditty in 2005 aimed to challenge Apple's iPod Shuffle, but fell flat. The Ditty featured a small, screenless design with 512 megabytes of storage, making it less versatile than competitors. Users criticized its clunky software, awkward interface, and limited compatibility with popular media formats. The device's battery life and sound quality were only average.
One nice thing about this MP3 player is that it just functions like a thumb drive,
failing to excite audiophiles or casual listeners. Released at a time when Apple dominated the digital music space, DJ Ditty's lack of innovation and weak marketing led to poor sales. Dell quietly discontinued the player within a year, illustrating the difficulty of breaking into established markets without a clear competitive edge. Sony's location-free TV, launched in the mid-2000s, was an early attempt to bring live television streaming to multiple devices via the internet. It allowed users to watch and control their home TV from anywhere in the world using a computer or a compatible handheld device. While ahead of its time, the system faced significant challenges including a complicated setup, expensive hardware, and inconsistent streaming quality due to slow or unreliable internet connections.
Through the base station allows you to wirelessly transmit or stream content from your home,
which were common at the time. Additionally, the limited device compatibility and lack of user-friendly apps made it difficult for mainstream adoption. As streaming services and smart TVs advanced rapidly, Sony's location-free TV became obsolete, overshadowed by more seamless, affordable solutions. It remains a notable example of early streaming innovation that failed to find lasting success.